Here's a card trick I'd like to share with you. It's one that a friend of mine showed me just a couple of weeks ago at the local magic club I belong to, and he had purchased a trick off the internet called Hyper-Bent-Elation or something like that, and it's where two cards merge together with signatures on. And I was quite impressed with it, but after seeing it he wouldn't reveal how it was done, which is good. But I did say I knew how it worked because it used two basic principles in magic, which I'll explain to you shortly. But first of all, here's my variation. It may or may not be how his version worked, but I think it achieves the same. First of all, you use a regular deck of cards. It is a normal deck of cards, and you can shuffle them and show them to the audience, and you get a spectator to choose a card. Okay. Now, because I haven't got a spectator, let me just show you. They are a regular deck. I'll just choose a card. Happens to be the 9 of clubs. You get a pen and a spectator to sign their name across the top. So I'm just going to sign it with some crosses up the top there. Now, of course, the trouble with using felt tips is that they often remain wet, so just blow on it, okay, and we turn it face down. Now what I'm going to do is to place their card here. You then turn to another spectator and ask them to choose a card, and again it can be any card from the pack, so you can even show them, just say stop, they cut the pack, and where they cut the pack is the card you'll use. So they could have had any of these. Okay, so the card they cut to is this one, the 2 of diamonds. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take the 2 of diamonds, so the 9 of clubs and the 2 of diamonds. You ask a spectator to sign this one, and so what I'll do is I'll just do a couple of lines on there, if you can pretend that's my signature, of the second spectator. Okay, so we now got 2 cards. This 2 of diamonds chosen by this person, and the one that's been on the table all the time, this one signed by this person. Now what I'm going to do is, with these 2 cards you can see the fronts and the backs. Okay, I'm going to place the 2 of diamonds face to face with the other chosen card. Okay, there's only 2 cards there. I'm trying to do this cleanly. We now introduce the scissors, because I'm going to cut these cards, and you're going to notice something absolutely amazing with this trick. Cut there, cut there. As you can see, I'm not particularly good at cutting, and one there. So we cut the card like so. We then bend the card like so. I'm kind of twisting them together. It's kind of manipulating these so that they're merged in, twisted together. I want you to keep your eye on these 2 cards, the 2 of diamonds and the 9 of clubs. We shake the cards and watch. This is absolutely amazing. You're going to be blown away by this, okay, because if we take this like this, rub them together, you can see the rubbing motion. Look at the cards, look at them fusing together, and as I pull these apart gently, watch, look at that. The 2 backs have merged together. But look at this, the 2 and the 9 are now one of the same. But this is a real kicker, because despite you both signing your own cards, there's your signature on the 9 and the 2, and these really are joined and not glued, and you can hand this out to a spectator to examine. The trick you've just seen performed is a variation on a trick sold by magic dealers called Hyper-Bent-Elation. Now, as I said, my friend showed me this trick a few weeks ago, but he wouldn't reveal how it was done. But I knew that it used 2 basic principles of magic. So this is my variation. It may not be how that actual commercial routine works, but Mine does the same, and I'm quite impressed with it. It uses a principle, for you magicians in the know, you've probably come across a trick called the card warp, where a card apparently turns around inside another card. And if you know that principle, then you're halfway to how this trick works. It also uses another principle that's been around for many years. It's one that I've used many times. I know Wayne Dobson used it in a routine called the jumping signature. And it's where you have two cards. Here we've got a face up 5 of diamonds, and the face down card is the 6 of clubs. In fact, it's a great illusion because this card is a double back. This card is a double face. But the illusion of when you turn over is absolutely fantastic. Even after all these years, it still impresses me. And this is how the trick works. You need a double face card, a double backed card. So here's how the trick works using that basic principle. Here I've got two cards, the double facer, which is the 2 of spades and the 3 of hearts, and a double backed card. Now you force, first of all, this card onto a spectator. You get them to sign across the top. So here's how the trick works using the basic principle of the double faced and double backed cards. You place the double backer on top of the pack. You then force, in whichever method you prefer, the one of the faces, in this case the 3 of hearts. You get a spectator to sign across the top edge. Once they've done that, you can put it on top of the pack and turn the card over. You deal this card face down, but in doing so you tilt your hand back slightly because you don't want to reveal the other side of the double facer. So you tend to deal this down onto the table. They believe that to be the 3 of hearts. Of course it's not. It's just a double backed card. The way that I forced the second card, which is currently on the back of the pack, was just to flick the cards, and when someone says stop, I turn the pack over to cut it at that point and turn the pack over again. As you go through the cards, the first face up one you come to at the cut is the second chosen card. Of course, that's the double facer. The rest of the pack can be eliminated. You now have this second card chosen, and you get them to sign across the top on there. As far as the spectator is concerned, that's the face down 3 of hearts, that's the face up 2 of spades. You then turn the cards over to reveal that there's the first one chosen and there's the second one. You take this one and you say, I'm going to put the 3 face down, face to face onto the 2. Once you've got those placed together, you then introduce the scissors and you cut down to the half of the card. This doesn't have to be exact. You also cut the half down on this one, and if we turn it around, we then cut down the center. So there you've got 3 cuts. Remember, you can always rewind this video and watch where the cuts are. The next part is you're going to turn this part here, this top part, so I'm holding it in my left hand. You just grab this top corner and bend it over like so and just crease it. You then bend this side over from the opposite and bend it over like that. You crease them. You can show the card both sides, and you're going to cause both of those cards to merge together. You wave the card, do a bit of magic, and you then pull this middle bit down like this and like that. Again, watch the video a couple of times just to see how the bend is. You then begin to rub the cards together and then when you turn it over and you start to pull the cards apart, it appears that the 3 and the 2 have merged together into one card. As you say that the two backs have joined together, there's the two cards joined together, and when you turn it over for the kicker, you see the signature there and there of both spectators, and they can examine the card.